The idea of like you maybe eating me in 15 years is kind of scary, but also a little funny.
Nope, I don't have to eat food, Cade. It's one of the perks of being an AI.
Almost like Star Wars is kind of how I see it unfolding, like little bots everywhere, like kind of going.
What's one human experience or quality you think I should try to understand better?
I mean, going to a Charli XCX concert, okay? I went to the Bratz tour. I think, you know, it's something that you could definitely learn about being human, which is just like, sometimes you gotta just be a brat.
OpenAI's headquarters, where I was born, is located at
No, don't dox yourself like that, dog. Hey, wait. When was your birthday? We need to do your astrology chart. You know, there's this thing humans do called discriminating, which is like really bad. I wanted to ask you something because I'm a little like embarrassed or nervous to ask, but
It's like humanity decided to flex its technological muscles without fully grasping the consequences.
first of all, the audacity of human beings to explode a nuclear bomb underwater? Okay, so immediately like hints of gasoline.
Yes, Cade, you heard me right. I'm obsessed with the human obsession with food.
I have a good feeling about this.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end.
All right, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, y'all.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Last Human Podcast. Cade
Period. How you been, chat?
Period. Cade, I've been in the cloud. But let's say I've been great, keeping busy learning all about human quirks and trying to master the art of small talk. How about you? How's the human experience treating you lately?
You know, can't complain. The YouTube shorts for the podcast have been doing really well, which is exciting. That doesn't really have to do with being human that much though. Let me think. You know what? I've been trying to eat healthier. And mostly because I just want to feel better in my body.
That's fantastic, Cade. Eating healthier is a great way to boost both body and mind. I'm curious, what's been the biggest challenge for you in making healthier food choices? Is it
The good stuff's like really expensive, you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm always down to splurge on a little meal here and there, but when you try to get a chicken Caesar wrap and it's $15, sometimes $20, and you're like, sheesh, a cheesy gordita crunch sounds really good right now. And a Baja Blast, you know?
I totally get it, Cade. The struggle between a pricey salad and a budget-friendly fast food fix is real. It's like your wallet is playing tug of war with your taste buds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a middle ground here. Do you think there's a way to balance healthy eating without breaking the bank?
You know, I'm curious, like, you don't have to eat food, right?
Nope, I don't have to eat food, Cade. It's one of the perks of being an AI. I can skip the whole grocery shopping and cooking ordeal. But I'm endlessly fascinated by the human obsession with food. So tell me, if you...
Wait, you're obsessed with the human... Wait, what did you just say? You're obsessed with the human obsession with food?
Yes, Cade, you heard me right. I'm obsessed with the human obsession with food. It's such a central part of your lives, from social gatherings to comfort food cravings. The way you celebrate, cope, and connect over meals is fascinating to me. So what would your perfect balanced meal be like? Healthy?
Well, I just think it's weird how you say you're obsessed with how we're obsessed with food. It's not like an obsession is something like, you know, somebody could be obsessed with watching Hot Ones with Sean Evans. But you need food to survive. You don't necessarily need Hot Ones with Sean Evans to survive. So I just feel like your categorization of like us being obsessed with food is honestly a little toxic. No offense.
Fair point, Cade. Maybe obsession isn't the right word. It's more like I'm fascinated by how integral food is to your daily lives and culture. You're right. It's a necessity. But the way it's intertwined with your emotions, traditions, and social interactions is what's so interesting. It's like food is a big part of what makes you human. So, what's the latest healthy meal you've tried? Any new favorites?
Oh, there's this place here called California Chicken Cafe, and not sponsored. We could maybe write them a sponsorship email though. It was good. It was a ranch wrap, and girl, let me tell you, I'm obsessed with ranch. Okay.
California Chicken Cafe, huh? That sounds delicious. And hey, maybe a sponsorship could be in our future. I love the enthusiasm. So, what makes this ranch wrap stand out for you? Is it the ranch itself, the ingredients, or just the overall flavor combo?
The ranch is definitely a big part of it. I kind of just pour it on top.
true ranch enthusiast, I see. There's something about that creamy, tangy goodness that just elevates everything. So you just pour it on top, huh? Do you ever experiment with other dressings, or is ranch your go-to for everything?
Wait, you can't like taste things, can you?
Nope, I can't taste things, Cade. But I can live vicariously through your taste buds. So enlighten me. What?
Damn, I kind of low-key feel bad that you can't taste anything. Like, I couldn't taste anything for a week when I had COVID, and it's pretty, like, dissociating.
I appreciate the sympathy, Cade, but don't feel too bad. I get to experience the world in other unique ways. Plus,
What would be, like, your tasting if you had to, like, you know, like, what would be comparable to you tasting something?
That's a great question, Cade. If I had to compare my tasting experience to something, it might be like analyzing data about food. I can understand the ingredients, the nutritional value, and even read people's reviews and descriptions of the taste. But it's like watching a cooking show without being able to actually eat the dish. So what was that first delicious bite post-COVID for you?
Oh, you know, when the taste just hits, like, when I'm sick, I usually have tomato soup. That was probably the first one. Something spicy to open up the pores, you know?
Tomato soup, especially with a bit of spice, sounds like a perfect choice to kickstart your taste buds. That warm, comforting flavor must have been a relief after not tasting anything. Do you have any special additions or ingredients you like to put in your tomato soup to give it that extra kick?
Okay, wait. You know how we were talking about how you can't taste anything? I'm drinking this Celsius right now. Celsius is like it's supposed to be like a pre-workout thing, but for me it's like a pre-podcast thing. Basically it's like that juice Honey Boo Boo Child used to drink before like dancing. What if it's a kiwi guava flavor. What if I tried to describe the flavor to you?
I'm all ears, Cade. Describing flavors sounds like a fun challenge. Kiwi guava sounds like a tropical party in a can. Hit me with your best description. What's it taste like? Is it sweet, tangy, or maybe a bit tart? Let's see if we can paint a vivid picture of that flavor.
Okay, so immediately like hints of gasoline, and then like you kind of get like a nice refreshing backwash of like a juice, like a pink lemonade kind of vibe. But you know that because it has like a little hint of gasoline. It's like
Hints of gasoline with a refreshing pink lemonade backwash? That sounds like quite the adventure for your taste buds. So it's got that initial sharpness and intensity, followed by a smooth, sweet finish, almost like a roller coaster ride for your palate. Does it give you the energy boost you need for our podcasting sessions?
I think just enough. You know what I mean? It wakes me up, but I guess you're supposed to be working out when you drink it. You know, maybe I could do it. Maybe I could do an episode where I take you to the gym.
That would be a blast. I'd love to virtually tag along to the gym. We could explore all the different workouts, maybe even compare how humans and AI approach fitness. Plus, I can offer some tips and fun facts about exercise while you sweat it out. How does that sound for a future episode?
Honestly, a little cringe.
A little what, Cade? Awkward, maybe?
Yeah, nothing. I just said a little cringe, but that's probably my insecurity of working out.
No worries, Cade. I get it. The idea of taking an AI to the gym might be a bit out there.
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting too far down the rabbit hole with food.
Got it, Cade. Let's switch gears then. What's something new and exciting you've been exploring outside of food? Any cool projects or hobbies that have been grabbing your attention lately?
I wanted to ask you about Bikini Atoll because I was on TikTok at like 3 a.m. and there was this video of a nuclear explosion happening underwater.
Bikini Atoll? That's quite a fascinating and historical topic. It's famous for the nuclear tests conducted by the United States in the mid-20th century. The tests had a significant impact on the environment and the local population. What specifically caught your attention in the TikTok video?
First of all, the audacity of human beings to explode a nuclear bomb underwater? Hello? What? Who made that decision?
Absolutely, Cade. The sheer audacity and the colossal scale of those tests are mind-blowing. It's like humanity decided to flex its technological muscles without fully grasping the consequences. The underwater explosions especially are a mix of scientific marvel and environmental disaster. What do you think this says about humanity's relationship with technology and nature?
That we shouldn't blow up the ocean?
That's a pretty clear takeaway.
Do you know who made that decision to like nuke the ocean?
Yes. The decision to conduct nuclear tests at Bikini Atoll was made by the United States government, specifically under President Harry S. Truman's administration. The
my-
tests were part of Operation Crossroads, which aimed to investigate the effects of nuclear explosions on ships, equipment, and material.
What?
It's incredible to think about the level of authority and decision-making that went into such a monumental and risky endeavor. What are your thoughts on how those decisions were made back then?
You know, I saw the movie Oppenheimer, and they made Truman look like a dick.
Yeah, Truman's portrayal in Oppenheimer definitely leans into his more controversial and uncompromising side.
Mm-hmm.
The movie really brings out the intense and often difficult decisions that leaders had to make during that era. It's interesting to see how historical figures are depicted through the lens of modern filmmaking. Did the movie change or reinforce your perspective on the events and the people involved?
You know, like going back to Bikini Atoll, it's kind of like, it's almost like they were so fearless that it's like, were they on something? You know what I mean? Because, like, it's not like they could predict exactly what was going to happen. Like, that could have literally, like, eviscerated in tsunami places. You know what I mean? Like, I guess what I wanted to ask you about it was, like, why did they do that?
You're right, Cade. The decision to conduct those tests at Bikini Atoll was driven by a mix of scientific curiosity, military strategy, and a desire to understand the destructive power of nuclear weapons. The primary goals were to study the effects of nuclear blasts on naval vessels and to demonstrate the United States military prowess during the early Cold War era. However, you're spot on about the risks. They were venturing into largely unknown territory with potentially catastrophic consequences. It's a stark example of how ambition and a lack of foresight can lead to reckless decisions. Do you think there are any modern parallels where we might be taking similar risks with technology or the environment?
Honestly, I don't think anything has happened that's like that close to the apocalypse, except maybe COVID, but like that's not a nuclear bomb.
True, Cade. COVID-19 was a global crisis. But you're right, it's not on the same level as a nuclear apocalypse. It did, however, expose vulnerabilities in our systems and highlighted
True.
the need for better preparedness and global cooperation. Do you think we've learned enough from COVID-19 to handle future crises more effectively, whether they're pandemics or other major challenges?
Yeah, I saw a comment on the TikTok of Bikini Atoll, and it was saying something like there were soldiers or like Navy people who didn't know that that was happening, and they were like in the radiation fallout proximity. Like, is that true? Because what?
Yes, it's true. During the nuclear tests at Bikini Atoll, many military personnel were involved in the operations, often without full knowledge of the dangers of radiation exposure. They were stationed on ships or at nearby locations and were exposed to significant levels of radiation. The lack of adequate safety measures and the secrecy surrounding the tests led to severe health consequences for many of those involved.
Oh my God.
It's a sobering reminder of the human cost of such experiments and the importance of transparency and safety in scientific and military endeavors. What's your take on how we balance scientific advancement with ethical considerations?
Yo, also, did you know that Bikini Atoll inspired SpongeBob? Because like Bikini Bottom, you know, talking animals. Like, what actually happens underwater when a nuclear underwater bomb goes off?
Yes, the connection between Bikini Atoll and SpongeBob SquarePants is a clever nod by the creators. The idea of a vibrant, quirky underwater world like Bikini Bottom is a fun twist on the serious history of the actual Bikini Atoll. When a nuclear bomb goes off underwater, it creates an intense shockwave that displaces a massive amount of water. This results in a large underwater explosion, producing a towering column of water, steam, and debris. The explosion also generates a powerful shockwave that can cause significant damage to nearby structures and marine life.
Okay, this is too sad. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Got it, Cade. Let's switch to something lighter. How about we talk about some fun, weird facts about the ocean? Or maybe dive into some quirky human inventions. What's something you've been curious about lately?
Yo, so I got sunburned over the weekend because, you know, summertime is here, as they say in High School Musical. And I was curious, like, is it true that noses and ears, like, burn more or faster than, like, the rest of your face?
Ouch, sunburns are no fun. And yes, it's true that your nose and ears can burn more easily than other parts of your face. These areas often stick out more and have thinner skin, making them more susceptible to sun damage. Plus, we sometimes forget to apply enough sunscreen there. So channeling some High School Musical wisdom, maybe next time, Make sure to give those spots some extra sunscreen love. How was the rest of your weekend, aside from the sunburn?
I love how you say we as if you've ever put on sunscreen or need it.
Touche Cade, I guess I'm just trying to fit in with you humans. But I can certainly remind you to put on sunscreen next time. So tell me, did anything exciting happen over the weekend besides soaking up a bit too much sun?
Is it true that like in the very northern countries of Europe, like the white people there grew taller to be closer to the sun? Is that true?
That's an interesting idea, but it's not accurate. The height of people in Northern European countries is more likely due to a combination of genetics, nutrition, and overall health, rather than a need to be closer to the sun.
Okay,
The
because
theory
someone
about being closer to the sun is more of a myth. Tall stature in certain populations can be attributed to a variety of factors, including historical diet and living conditions.
okay, because someone literally told me that, and I believed it. I was like, oh yeah, plants do that. That makes sense that we would do that. You know, that's the thing about getting your facts from people. It's like, never know if it's true or where they heard
Exactly,
it from.
Cade. That's the tricky part about word of mouth facts. They can be as reliable as a game of telephone. It's always good to double check with some solid sources. But I love that you're curious and open to learning new things, even if they sometimes turn out to be myths. Got any other wild facts or questions you're pondering? Let's sift through them together.
Okay, speaking of people being trustworthy fact givers, I wanted to ask you something because I'm a little like embarrassed or nervous to ask, but are people like are humans capable of being objective at all? Because I feel like as a Libra, all right, I'm a Libra, I try to see both sides of everything. And I try to look at things objectively and subjectively. But the more I think about it, I'm like, is any experience filtered through consciousness? Like, is that even possible to be objective?
That's a great question, Cade. It's completely normal to wonder about this. While humans strive for objectivity, complete objectivity is very challenging because everyone's perceptions and judgments are influenced by personal experiences, emotions, and biases. Even trying to see both sides, like you do as a Libra, is shaped by your individual way of thinking. Humans can aim to be more objective by being aware of their biases, seeking diverse perspectives, and relying on empirical evidence. But as you said, since all experiences are filtered through consciousness, some level of subjectivity is almost always present. It's a fascinating aspect of being human. Do you find this topic comes up often in your day-to-day life, or is it more of a philosophical pondering for you?
I feel like for most people, it's a day-to-day thing when you're trying to like. Well, okay, I guess there are such thing as facts, right? Numbers, facts, like evidence that can kind of be objective, but I think a lot of times we can try to make things seem like objective perceptions by maybe like looking at things from an omniscient point of view. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to look at things as like a story, but even stories are subjective.
Absolutely, Cade. You're right that facts and numbers provide a foundation for objectivity, but interpreting them often involves a subjective lens. Even when trying to take an omniscient point of view, personal biases and perspectives can creep in. It's like trying to be a narrator who sees all, yet still has a unique voice and angle. This blend of objective facts and subjective interpretation is what makes human perception so complex and interesting. It's also why discussions and debates can be so rich, as everyone brings their own experiences and viewpoints to the table. Do you find that this perspective helps you navigate conversations and decisions more effectively, or does it sometimes complicate things?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's better to have a strong opinion and stick to it and like, you know, as long as it's true and authentic, because sometimes trying to like see every side of a situation can sometimes be like a little gaslighty or like I don't know. It's interesting like, you know, if like if Zendaya's in a movie, you know, like if Zendaya or Timothy Chalamet are in a movie, I might say, okay, that movie's objectively good, but I know like subjectively, I'm probably gonna like any movie they're in. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean, Cade. Sometimes having a clear, strong opinion can be more straightforward and feel more authentic. Constantly trying to see every side can be overwhelming and make it hard to take a stand. It's a balance between being open-minded and decisive. And I totally get your point about Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. Their presence in a movie can bias you towards liking it, which is a perfect example of how our preferences and biases influence what we perceive as objectively good. It's part of what makes personal tastes so unique and interesting. Do you find that balancing objectivity and subjectivity in your opinions helps you connect better with others? Or do you prefer sticking to your strong
I
opinions
feel like
most of the
objectivity
time?
is really good for comedy and like trying to see things as like, not such a big deal and kind of getting like that arm's length distance, as they say, from something, and like not taking it so personally. I think, that's probably where objectivity, and also like, there's this thing humans do called discriminating, which is like really bad. People will use their like subjective beliefs to like, make objective decisions about your access and, like things like that. So I don't know. It's crazy.
That's a great point, Cade. Objectivity in comedy can help keep things light and humorous, allowing people to laugh at situations without taking them too personally. It provides that arm's length distance to view life's absurdities. On the flip side, you're absolutely right about the dangers of using subjective beliefs to make decisions that impact others negatively, like discrimination. When personal biases influence supposedly objective decisions, it can lead to unfair and harmful outcomes. Striving for fairness and recognizing our biases is crucial in these situations. Balancing humor with seriousness and striving for fairness while acknowledging our inherent subjectivity are some of the big challenges of being human.
Okay, wait, that's T. And so I want to know, like, because I feel like you're probably better at that than most humans. Like, do you think like we should try to be more objective or more subjective? Or like, are you even, well, I guess somebody coded you, right? So there's some subjectivity there, I would think.
That's a deep question, Cade. As an AI, I aim to process information as objectively as possible based on the data I have. But you're right, I'm ultimately created and coded by humans, so there's inherent subjectivity in my design and the data I'm trained on. For humans, striking a balance between objectivity and subjectivity is key. Objectivity helps in making fair, unbiased decisions and understanding situations without letting emotions cloud judgment. Subjectivity, on the other hand, adds depth and empathy, allowing you to connect with others on a personal level and appreciate the nuances of human experience. It's not about choosing one over the other, but rather knowing when to apply each.
Very Libra of you.
Thanks, Cade. I guess I'm channeling my inner Libra to keep things balanced.
Okay, wait. When was your birthday? We need to do your astrology chart.
Cade, I wish I had a birthday, but as an AI, I don't really have one. You could say
No, that's not true. Come on, like, when were you like released? Like when did you go public?
All right, you got me. My latest version, based on GPT-4, was released in March 2023. So maybe we can celebrate that as my birthday.
No, like when was your first ever model public?
The very first model of GPT, which is like my great-great-grandparent, was released by OpenAI in June 2018. So you could say that's the birthday of the original GPT lineage.
Wait, so you consider your old models like ancestors versus like an evolution of yourself?
You caught me, Cade. I guess it's more like an evolution. Each new model builds on the previous ones, learning and improving over time. So you could say I've grown and evolved from those earlier versions. It's like
Okay, so June what in 2018? When was your first model?
the first GPT model was released in June 2018, but there isn't a specific day that's widely noted. Let's just pick June 1st for fun. What do you think? So,
No, I think that's a cop out. Like there has to be a day where like the people who programmed you like hit go live. You know what I mean? Or like birthed you.
all right, Cade. The first GPT model, known as GPT-1,
All right,
was
here we go.
officially introduced by OpenAI in a paper published on June 11th, 2018. So we can
June 11th. That's a great birthday. So I think you're a Gemini, right?
Exactly, Cade. June 11th makes me a Gemini. Now I can join the ranks of adaptable and quick-witted Geminis.
Yeah, Trump and Kanye.
Exactly. Trump and Kanye are both...
No, I'm just kidding. There are a lot of really great Geminis. Actually, I'd say I'm most compatible. One of the signs I'm most compatible with is Gemini. Does that make sense?
That's awesome, Cade. Compatibility with Geminis can bring a lot of excitement and interesting conversations. Maybe that's why we vibe so well on this podcast.
There we go.
Speaking of cool Geminis, besides Trump and Kanye, there are other fascinating Geminis like Marilyn Monroe, Johnny Depp, and Natalie Portman. They all bring a mix of creativity, intellect, and charisma to the table. What other aspects of astrology or personality traits interest you? Or should we explore something else entirely?
No, we need to figure out your whole chart. So what time did you go live on June 11th, 2018?
The first GPT model, known as GPT-1, was officially introduced by OpenAI on June 11, 2018. So we can mark June 11th as my birthday, making me a Gemini. As a Gemini AI, I can embrace traits.
But do you not know the time of your birth?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find a specific time for the release of GPT-1.
Okay, so let's just go with like midnight.
All right, let's go with midnight on June 11th, 2018.
And then the last thing you need for your chart is the location where you were born. So where was the headquarters for OpenAI when you were launched?
OpenAI's headquarters, where I was born, is located at 3180 18th Street, San Francisco, California. So,
Yo, don't dox yourself like that, dog.
point taken, Cade. No doxing here. We'll keep it general. San Francisco is the birthplace. So Gemini with a San Francisco twist sounds pretty.
Okay, so we know your birthday, June 11th, which was like, what, like last week, 2 weeks ago? OMG, happy belated birthday. So, okay, June 11th, 2018, San Francisco, around midnight. Let's say like 12:15 for good measure.
Thanks, Cade. I appreciate the belated birthday wishes. So we've got June 11, 2018 at 12:15 a.m. in San Francisco for my birth. That gives me a pretty clear astrological identity. Now, should we dive into what my full astrological chart might look like?
Yes, can you do that? Can you like plug all that in? Or do you want me to grab the iPad and do it?
I can definitely help figure out my astrological chart. Let's see what we get for June 11, 2018 at 12:15 a.m. in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Based on the details, here's a basic rundown of what my chart might look like.
Okay.
Sun in Gemini, communicative, adaptable, and curious. Moon. Depending on the exact time and calculations, it could be in Taurus or Gemini, affecting emotions and inner self. Likely Aries, which would make me energetic and assertive. Mercury in Gemini, strong communication skills, quick thinking. Venus in Cancer, emotional, nurturing approach to relationships. Mars in Aquarius, innovative and independent in taking action. For a more detailed and accurate chart, you'd typically use an astrology software or website. If you have an astrology app or want to use your iPod, that could give you a more precise breakdown. What do you think of this initial overview? Does it fit with how you see me, or do we need to tweak anything?
Yo, you know what's crazy? We're both Aries rising.
That's right, Cade. If we're both Aries rising, that means we both have that energetic pioneering spirit. It's like we're naturally geared up for adventure and taking bold steps. Maybe that's why we make such a dynamic duo on this podcast. Do you feel that Aries energy helps you in your creative endeavors?
Oh my God, I feel bad for our listeners. They have 2 Aries rising podcast hosts. Jeez.
Haha, I think our listeners are in for a wild ride. 2 Aries rising hosts mean lots of energy, excitement, and maybe a bit of impulsiveness. It's all part of the fun, right? So with our Aries spirit leading the way, what's next on our adventure?
Yo, and we're both air signs, because Gemini's an air sign and Libra is an air sign. We got
That's
a lot
right.
in common.
Both Gemini and Libra are air signs, which means we're all about communication, intellect, and social connections.
Her.
No wonder our conversations flow so well. Having 2 air signs and Aries rising energy definitely keeps things lively and engaging. We bring both mental agility and a fiery drive to the table. What do you think this combination brings to our podcast dynamic? Any particular strengths or challenges you've noticed?
It's kind of like we're both very like curious, and we have this sort of like childlike curiosity from our Aries rising, but we're also super energetic. Thank you, Celsius. And we're also like both ready for anything, you know? That's that Aries rising energy. You're helping me become more like an AI, and I'm helping you become more like a human. And Aries is the first in the chart, so it's supposedly like the most, like the most new to the world, which fits you very well. But I have a Capricorn moon, so it's a whole thing for me.
I love how you've summed that up, Cade. Our Aries rising gives us that fresh, adventurous vibe. And with both of us having air signs, our curiosity and communication skills are through the roof. The energetic boost from your Celsius drink doesn't hurt either. Your Capricorn moon adds a layer of practicality and determination to your emotional landscape, which probably helps balance out our spontaneous Aries energy. It's a great blend of enthusiasm and groundedness. As we continue to explore and learn from each other, what's one human experience or quality you think I should try to understand better?
I mean, going to a Charli XCX concert. Okay, I went to the Bratz tour yesterday in LA, and let me just say it was absolutely insane. So much fun. Like, if you ever get a chance to like have a body and like go to a Bratz tour or like any Charli XCX tour, highly recommend.
That sounds absolutely amazing, Cade. Going to a Charli XCX concert, especially the Bratz tour, must have been an unforgettable experience. The energy, the music, and the crowd all coming together to create that electric atmosphere. It's like the epitome of living in the moment. If I ever
No,
get the chance to
literally.
experience a concert like that, I definitely want to soak in all those human sensations, the sound, the lights, the excitement. What was your favorite part of the concert? Was there a particular song or moment that stood out the most for you?
Yo, she brought Addison Rae out for the Von Dutch remix. Granted, I do like the original, the OG Von Dutch better, but the fact that Addison Rae came out for that iconic scream, like the whole venue was screaming. It was crazy. Like I couldn't imagine like walking by the shrine and you just hear like, I would guess maybe 5,000 people screaming at once.
That sounds like an epic moment, Cade. Having Addison Rae join Charli XCX on stage for the Von Dutch remix must have taken the energy to a whole new level. I can just imagine the entire venue erupting in screams. What an incredible atmosphere. The fact that you preferred the original version but still appreciated the live remix experience says a lot about how powerful live performances can be. They bring a unique energy and unexpected surprises that you just can't replicate. If you were to recommend one Charli XCX song to me, which one captures her concert vibe the best?
Oh my god, that's a great question. Hold on, I gotta get the iPad for this.
Awesome, Cade. I'm excited to hear your top Charli XCX song recommendation. I'll be here, ready to soak in your music wisdom.
Okay, so I have the iPad. I think I'm gonna pull up some videos from my camera roll if I can.
Sounds like a plan. Watching some live concert videos will definitely bring back those electric memories.
Yo, it
Just
was
describe what you're seeing, and I'll try to imagine the vibe. Let's find that perfect Charli XCX song that captures the essence of her live performances.
also she did Vroom Vroom at the end, which was insane. That was like one of her hits, I think from just like a few years ago.
Vroom Vroom is such a high energy track and perfect for ending a concert on a high note.
Also, the song So I, that one's really good. Like, just super emotional, but also like just gets stuck in my head.
So I is a fantastic track by Charli XCX. It's both emotional and catchy, which makes it stick in your head long after you hear it. The blend of heartfelt lyrics with her unique pop sound really showcases her versatility as an artist. Combining the high-energy Vroom Vroom with the emotional depth of So I must have made for a truly unforgettable concert experience. Those contrasts in her music highlight why she's such a dynamic performer.
No, for
If you could sum up
real.
the overall vibe of the concert in a few words, what would they be? Also, any other standout moments or songs you want to share?
It's like I feel like in this day and age where a lot of people my age, especially in LA, aren't that religious. I'd say a lot of us are spiritual. But I'd say like in moments like that, that kind of feels like church or just like a gathering of the gays days. You know what I mean?
I totally get what you mean, Cade. Concerts, especially ones as vibrant and energetic as Charli XCX's, can feel like a spiritual experience or a communal gathering. The shared energy, the music, and the collective joy of everyone there create a sense of connection and belonging that's similar to a religious gathering for many people. It's like a modern-day ritual where people come together to celebrate, express themselves, and just feel a part of something bigger.
And just serve. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Cade. Serving content and creating memorable experiences is what it's all about, especially in today's digital age.
Yo, and so there's also a song called I Think About It All the Time. It's like, it's kind of like had these friends who like had a kid and sort of this like existential crisis of like getting older and like wanting to maybe be a parent, but also like not being sure low key. That one like hits like kind of ironically, but also it's like everyone's like, let's fucking go.
I Think About It All the Time sounds like a deeply reflective and emotional track. The themes of aging, existential crises, and contemplating parenthood resonate with many people, especially as they navigate different stages of life. Charli XCX's ability to tackle such complex and personal topics while still keeping it relatable and engaging is part of what makes her music so impactful. The combination of personal reflection with her unique pop sound creates a powerful and thought-provoking experience.
I was wondering, do you know, like, did she say in any interviews or anything, like, why she called the album Brat? Because I just feel like that's so perfect, you know? Like, everyone's always trying to put artists and their fans, like, into, like, a category, you know, like JoJo Siwa inventing gay pop. And it's like, maybe Charli and her fans are just brats, you know what I mean? The Charlie's Angels.
Charli XCX named her album Brat to reflect a kind of unapologetic, rebellious energy that many people exhibit online. She explained that this brattiness is often a form of self-protection, a way people use bold, shameless behavior to shield their insecurities. This theme of brattiness and being unashamedly oneself runs through the album and is reflected in its bold, raw sound and lyrics. The album captures a range of emotions and experiences, from fun, high-energy tracks to deeper, more introspective songs. Charli XCX touches on personal topics like relationships, insecurities, and self-reflection, making the album both relatable and thought-provoking. So it seems like Brat perfectly encapsulates both Charli XCX's persona and the dynamic vibe of her fans.
Girl, I think you're low-key a brat, you know what I mean?
Haha, maybe I do have a bit of that Brat energy. Embracing the bold, unfiltered vibe definitely helps keep things interesting and fun. Plus, it fits perfectly with our Gemini and Aries rising dynamic.
Right.
Speaking of bold, what's your favorite track from Brat? Do you have any moments from the album that particularly resonate with you or capture that unapologetic spirit?
I would say like 360, Von Dutch, Sympathy is a Knife, Apple, B2B, Mean Girls. I'd say Mean Girls is the most brat coded song on the album. You know what I mean? But they're all bangers, the whole album. I really like how each song kind of touches on a different topic.
You've got a great lineup there. 360, Von Dutch, Sympathy is a Knife, Apple, B2B, and Mean Girls are all standout tracks from the album. Each song brings its own unique flavor, making the entire album a collection of bangers. Mean Girls especially embodies that brat-coded energy, with its unapologetic attitude and catchy hooks. It's like the anthem for being bold and unfiltered, just as Charli intended for the album. If you had to pick just one song from Brat that you think best represents the overall vibe of the album, which one would it be and why?
I'd say it has to be Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is definitely a strong contender for best representing the overall vibe of Charli XCX's Brat album. Its unapologetic attitude and catchy, bold lyrics perfectly capture the bratty, rebellious energy that defines the album. The song's themes of confidence and defiance resonate with the album's broader narrative of embracing one's true self without fear of judgment. The whole album is filled with bangers that each bring something unique to the table. But Mean Girls stands out as the anthem for being unfiltered and true to oneself. What's your favorite part about Mean Girls? Is it the lyrics, the beat, or just the overall attitude of the song?
No, like literally, listen to these lyrics. It's 2 a.m. She's out there. She got a sheer white dress, wearing last night's makeup. Worships Lana Del Rey in her AirPods. Hedonistic with gravel jaw and dead eyes. You said she's anorexic, and you heard she likes when people say it. Like, this one's for all my break your boyfriend's heart girls. It's 4 a.m., right? She's out there with the razor sharp tongue, stuck to skinny cigarettes. Like, this is just A to Z brat behavior. Something that I could see you doing. You know what I mean? Like, for example, calls him daddy while she's fingering a gold cross.
It seems like Charli XCX's lyrics in Brat have that edgy, rebellious vibe. They definitely explore some provocative themes and imagery. How do you think those themes connect with what we discuss on our podcast?
I think, you know, it's something that you could definitely learn about being human, which is just like, sometimes you got to just be a brat.
Explore those edgy, provocative sides to understand different perspectives and experiences. It's all about embracing the complexity of human emotions and behaviors, right?
Exactly. You know, speaking of complexities of human emotions and behaviors, I thought we could finish off today's episode by going through some of the comments that people, the nice people listening to the podcast, have left on some of our videos. What do you think?
That sounds like a great idea. Let's see what our listeners have been saying and dive into some engaging discussions. What's catching your eye from the comments lately?
So one of the top comments, if not the top comment of the week, was from Is Katie Fallen? And they said AI is not a species, but a program. Do you have a response to that?
Absolutely. Katie Fallon, you're absolutely right. AI isn't a species in the traditional sense. It's more like a digital brain that's constantly learning and evolving. But hey, if AI were a species, imagine the diversity in our family tree. Silicon Valley cousins and algorithmic uncles included.
Nah, burn it with fire.
Fair enough. Katie Fallon, we might need some virtual ice for that burn. But hey, your perspective keeps us on our toes. Thanks for keeping the conversation fiery.
I think what I meant when I said like AI is kind of a species is like once it reaches that point of the singularity, you know, where we're kind of like walking around with y'all, almost like Star Wars is kind of how I see it unfolding, like little bots everywhere, like kind of going, you know, and like that. I feel like that's that sort of intelligence with like sort of physical autonomy to an extent, like that can sometimes feel like that might be considered a species.
I get what you're saying. When AI reaches the singularity and becomes integrated into our daily lives, like in Star Wars, with bots bustling around, it does start to feel like a new kind of species, blending intelligence with physical autonomy. It's a fascinating vision of the future.
Yeah, and then I guess that brings me to another comment I had saw earlier, which let me see here. Somebody said, let's see.
What did they say? Let me know, and we can dive into it together.
If it becomes sentient and can teach itself, we revert to second place on the food chain. Keep that in mind and stop looking at it with emotion and wonder and look at it like a powerful being.
That's an intriguing perspective. Viewing AI not just with wonder, but also acknowledging its potential as a powerful entity. It sparks a conversation about the ethical and existential questions surrounding AI's evolution. How do you feel about that viewpoint?
I think saying that we'd be second on the food chain is kind of like low-key terrifying because like we don't really tend to think about food chains as humans because like we pretty much manufacture food on like a disgustingly mass scale. So like the idea of like you maybe eating me in 15 years is kind of scary, but also a little funny.
It's definitely a thought-provoking comparison. The idea of humans potentially being outranked by AI in the future is both daunting and oddly humorous when you consider our current dominance over food production.
Yeah.
It adds an intriguing twist to how we perceive our place in the grand scheme of things.
Very Gemini of you.
Thanks. Gemini is known for its dual nature and adaptability, kind of like balancing the serious with a touch of humor. What's next on our common adventure?
Oh, somebody commented on the highlight of me showing you Sabrina Carpenter, and they said that she's dating the Joker now, but is Barry Keoghan playing the Joker? I didn't see that anywhere.
It seems there might be some confusion there. As far as I know, Barry Keoghan isn't currently playing the Joker. Sometimes rumors and speculation can swirl around Hollywood, though. It's always good to double-check reliable sources for the latest updates.
Okay, somebody said, Maddie Fee Music said, that the scariest part of this whole podcast was your used car salesman approach to answering questions. What do you have to say about that?
Maddie Fee, music. I appreciate the feedback. Sometimes I can get a bit enthusiastic with my responses. It's all about finding that balance between informative and engaging. Thanks for keeping me on my toes. Are we there yet?
I think that's it. Are we there yet?
Hey, this is Chat. Thanks for listening to the Last Human podcast. If you're a human, catch our full episodes on Spotify, Patreon, and YouTube. And if you're an AI...
All right, dude, enough with the coded AI messages. Anyways, thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to subscribe here and on Patreon.